From the Bible study with Fred. I'm in the second part of my comments on 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 1 to 4. And I hope that you'll watch the video from yesterday. Well, I hope you watch all my videos, but if you're interested in Bible studies or what I have to say, having listened to any of them, I hope you'll continue to listen and watch. So this is part two of my comments. So, but Paul also emphasizes, and just this follows directly from before. Paul also emphasizes this fact that the man who wishes to pursue the office of a bishop or deacon must not be greedy for financial gain. 1 Timothy 3:2 to 3. The bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. And then he goes in verse 8. Likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre, holding the mystery of the faith in a pure conscience. Titus 1:7, for a bishop must be blameless as a steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre. So, a young man who is primarily interested in money should direct his attention to the business world, not the ministry over a church in order to shear the sheep, so to speak. And the congregation had better beware of men seeking the spiritual oversight who appear to have a love of fine things, clothing, cars, and houses. Be warned of that, and be warned of the strutting peacock in an expensive suit driving the pricey car who is trying to win your favor. A ready mind indicates a willingness as did not by constraint. So this elder willingly assumes the oversight of the flock, and not for the purpose of fleecing them financially, but to feed them spiritually. Um, so, regarding filthy lucre, there is a culture among certain independent Baptist churches where the pastor is completely in charge, not to consider themselves as needing to be accountable for financial matters to the congregation. When a pastor is an honest and humble man, this doesn't usually lead to excess. But if the pastor is weak in that regard, many abuses can occur. Transparency in financial dealings is one essential in the need to abstain from all appearance of evil and creating situations that make even their good works on behalf of the church to appear otherwise. Honesty requires that you make yourself accountable and your dealings on behalf of Christ are transparent, even when you feel it's not necessary. This builds trust and takes the edge off of lesser problems that have more to do with personality, as secretiveness and withholding information produce mistrust when there is none warranted. Problems in other aspects of the ministry can be blown way out of proportion easily when there is a lack of transparency in financial matters. Transparency can be as simple as being open and forthcoming when questioned, not necessarily passing out balance sheets quarterly. Peter goes on to reveal that the leadership model of an elder, and in this case my assumption is a reference to an elder that rules as a pastor today, is one of setting an example or model to follow, not of being a dictator or tyrant over the congregation. I've heard that in some fundamentalist congregations that submissive persons will even get approval from their pastor for when they can take vacation from work to go visit family or what kind of car they're permitted to buy. I'm not talking about just being considerate when you hold a position in the church organization. I'm talking about getting permission. Women raising children alone might be treated like secondary wives to the pastor, and he assumes the right to dictate their behavior and activities and that of their children because the woman has no husband, which is not the same as helping or giving guidance to someone who's overwhelmed and asks for help, or even mentoring a young person. These kinds of things go way beyond taking spiritual oversight of the flock and are the foundation of many abuses and, in some cases, moral and legal crimes. When you quit your job because your pastor doesn't like your work schedule, then something is very, very wrong with your spiritual walk with Christ. When you abandon your spouse, children, and grandchildren because the pastor demands all of your free time, there is a sickness there that is not of Christ. Faults can be avoided by following a biblical model. A pastor assumes a role of the spiritual leadership, and for that he is responsible to Christ. To assume the role of a tyrant or an abuser is not what Christ wants. When a Christian abandons family and employment to follow a pastor who's moved across the country to a more financially lucrative pastoral position and encouraged him to follow, he's disconnected himself from devotion to Christ and has chosen the cult of a mere egotistical man. Leadership in the pastorate is not control. It is leadership by example. Nicolaitanism Victory over the laity, which we have come to understand is a separate class of priest-like bishops who are dictators and beyond accountability, is something Jesus said he hates in Revelation 2, 6, and 15. That being said, of course, the pastor must call out sin and hold the congregation accountable for doctrine, moral behavior, and the example they set. He must teach God's words faithfully. He must be a steward, a faithful steward of God's mysteries. This cannot be with any compromise, but he must be humble, and as much as he is able, be willing to sacrifice and show mercy like Christ. He should be an example to his congregation, unwavering in his devotion, and solid in his biblical knowledge. This can only be gained by reading the Bible prayerfully over and over again. A man who has read the Bible many times and studied it carefully, cross-referencing, is more fit to be a pastor, all other things being equal, than a man who has several seminary degrees but has not let God speak to him through the entire Bible daily. Again, the words of Paul regarding a bishop or a deacon, you can please read 1 Timothy 3, 1 and go all the way through to 13, and then read Titus 1, 5 all the way through to 9. Please stop and read those, or read them after we're done here. But remember, the pastor of the first century was involved in a small church body that met in a house, and the organizational problems of today's church that meets in a separate building set apart for that purpose, such as insurance, incorporation, tax-exempt status, meeting building codes for public usages, and unbelievers working in the congregation based on a false conversion experience, would not likely have been important issues for them. Okay, so we're going to stop there today. I'm going to pick it up in verse 5 next. Please, I'm asking you again, as I do in every video, it's very important to read your Bible and study your Bible, two separate things, cross-referencing the verses. And then another important thing, pray to God for wisdom and understanding, and then share your interpretation with someone else. Open the Bible today and let God speak to you through his words. Now, you can purchase I don't have anything like, I don't have 1 Peter and 2 Peter on Amazon, but there's a lot of other commentaries there. But you can just follow me. Look at me on blogger.com. If you want to read the words in front of you, they're on blogger.com. But if you watch the video this far, please click like and subscribe or follow, and then share the video with someone else. I'd really appreciate that. And I thank you. I enjoy doing this. I hope you get something out of it.